Brendan, welcome to A Mere Mortal's Conversation again. You've been here multiple times now. He's a veteran. As such, I have to admit, last time I was mistaken. There was another person who'd been on twice, but now you are the third official. So I have for you the Mere Mortal belt.
Wow.
Wear it proudly, man. You get to keep that as long as you want,
Very
although
nice.
I probably will want to use it for a skit sometime, so I'm probably just going to grab it right back.
Is someone going to fight me for it? If they come on
I wouldn't,
times?
personally, I wouldn't fight you, but... So,
Alright.
there we go.
Just
Congrats
leave this on here.
You've earned it.
Thank you.
So,
Right.
One of the things I wanted to talk today about was this book that you let me borrow not too long ago,
Yes.
the Wim Hof Method. And do you want to just give I've talked about it a bunch of times, but do you want to give people at home a rough overview of who Wim Hof is and his method?
How would I describe him? Wim Hof's like a crazy Nordic guy. I don't even know exactly where he's from. Do you know where he's from?
Dutch, yeah.
Dutch. Yeah, a crazy Dutch guy who goes into the cold, into ice water, and has figured out all these benefits that breathing can give you. But I don't really know a good way to describe it. I guess that's how I would say it. He breathes, he does the breathing and cold exposure.
Yeah. I think, like, reading from the book and just a bunch of interviews I've seen, he always seemed pretty wacky. Like, he was always very, I guess, like the free love, hippie stuff. I think he's 61, 62 nowadays, so he was born, how's good's my math, in the 60s, so he would have been grown up, like, with those ideas percolating in the air and whatnot. And, yeah, he invented a method, I guess, which is... Well, he's trademarked it, but it's sort of like the breathing style of ancient, like, people have done this for centuries and whatnot to...
It's like the pranayama or something from yogi or yoga or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so he's got his particular breathing method, which is unique but also not unique, and then he combines it with going into the cold and then the meditation aspect as well. So I just wanted to, I guess, just discuss the book a little bit. I'll have a book review that's coming out probably around the same time this comes out. But I got to admit, like, for me, I was a bit disappointed with the book compared to everything I've seen of him before.
Disappointed how?
It took away the charisma. There's still parts of his charisma in it, like you can see it in there, but it sort of just showed, I guess, like the base facts of what he's talking about as well, without, this crazy Dutch guy, introducing it all and whatnot. And it sort of, to me, felt like when I read it, I went, okay, I'm way more skeptical of the claims and what it can do and what he himself was claiming about the method as well. I think it took away, like, a little bit of the veneer of what drew me into him. And I was always saying, if I was going to join a cult, it'd be Wim Hof's cult, because he's so cool. Like, I love him.
He's a wacky guy.
Yeah. Did you get the feeling like, I don't know, it was claiming, too much in the essence of, he wasn't exactly saying it will help, it will solve your issues, but he was sort of saying, it might.
I think he was saying it has.
It has.
From the
that's
cases
true.
that he's worked with, like I think there was someone who had rheumatoid arthritis and, like, pain in their knees, and then they did, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or something like that, and then they were going up Mount Kilimanjaro with him and all this epic stuff. So I think, like, from his cases, he's sort of saying that it has happened. I don't know if he's saying that it will happen, because I think it's more, like, he's saying from what he's seen and from what the studies in the book have shown, like, it has and can happen, but there's still more studies to be done.
Yeah.
But I think, like you were saying, like, it's sort of taken a bit of the Wim Hof out of it, but it's like the book is called The Wim Hof Method, and it's describing the method.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little less him, a little more about the studies, the science, the method.
Yeah.
Like the actual execution, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing I think I got from it was, I'm not sure how committed he is to the actual scientific method, in the sense that he's had some successes, like, showing that yes, you can change. You can. Got to get the exact terms right, but it's sort of like boosting your immune system or being able to control your immune system to consciously fight off, like when they injected him with dead E. coli bacteria, and he could sort of fight it off, and some other people who he trained could also do it. But it also I also got the sense that sort of beneath that was he trusts the method in the sense that it's working for him at the moment. But if studies started to come out saying, we took this group of practitioners, we did this, and nothing happened, or we had negative results from it, or it was inconclusive, I'm not sure he'd still stand behind that aspect of the science part. And you could still sort of see it, like he's got this sort of love-hate relationship with science, in that people are very skeptical of what he was claiming and what he could do and whatnot, but he's also using it to further his message and sort of, I guess, separate him from other guru types, which he can very easily get chucked in with.
I think, like, with those studies, like, he's done it physically. He's seen what the results are for him and for the people he's worked with, and they've seen it. And then they use the scientific method to try and quantify things. But, like, maybe the scope of all these studies or where they're looking, because they don't understand it completely yet, maybe it's just the studies need to be wider. Like, they need to look at more aspects at once, like more holistically. And I think he's probably, the studies that do confirm what he says, he's going to use them and, ride that wave to spread the message. But I guess until the science can, like, really figure out what's going on and know what exactly to study and examine, I guess, he'll probably stick to, like, the more spiritual and unexplainable side of it until maybe science can find what exactly is going on. So he's probably using it to his advantage, because he wants to push, like, the dude's all about love and sharing the message and everything. So he's found a way to get the skeptics to believe and start converting some skeptics. So, I mean, why wouldn't you ride that wave?
Yeah, and it makes sense. It's not like, everything. It's not like I definitely follow the scientific method in terms of, I guess, what I choose to believe in. I usually use that as a pretty good guiding star, as in, if someone's claiming something, okay, I'll have a look at, is that backed up by studies and tests and able to be reproduced in certain ways. But it's not like I'm always like that as well. It's not like I'm always, every decision I make is quantified by that or whatnot. So
I think it's like, because we're both pretty healthy people, we don't have all these issues that sort of people are overcoming through his method. So, like, I found it as well. I did the Wim Hof Method for most of November, nearly every morning, cold showers, breathing, and it makes you feel good, but it didn't, like, really overhaul anything. I didn't see any great improvement in my life.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe, like, I don't have these crazy problems that people are getting cures for, like chronic pain and all these issues. Like, I'm not affected by many of those things, so, maybe I'm not seeing the great benefits of it. Or maybe the same for you. Like, maybe if you were, like, a rheumatoid arthritis sufferer, or whatever you would say, how you would say it, and then you did this method, and after 2 weeks you were feeling great, you would be much more of a believer than if you started with a pretty healthy baseline and you did it and it was like, well, it just made me feel a little better, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, that could also just be the fact that if you are quite unhealthy, even really basic changes doesn't even need to just be breathing wise, but it could be, to your food intake or whatnot. That would have really significant changes. But it's not like I can patent the Chiron eating method, which is
you could, though.
3 apples a day. I could try.
We live in a world where you can now. You can write your own ebook. You can.
Well, that's true.
You can do it. Start a YouTube channel, Instagram, social media. You could literally do it. It's a new world.
Yeah. But I guess you that's a pretty good point. If you are really struggling with certain things, having the ability to, well, I guess he because he does mix up sort of 3 things at once. The meditation aspect, if you put that in, that would probably just improve your life anyway, because you're becoming more introspective. becoming a bit more aware of your own body and, realizing, oh, maybe I don't need to buy that new Ferrari or whatnot just because, the person next door got a new BMW, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, like the breathing aspect. Yeah, same for me. I haven't seen huge impacts for me. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right as well. Like I've tried to be as strict as I can, but also experimenting, trying to get the symptoms, I guess, of what he was saying of the sort of lightheadedness in the toes and fingers and extremities. I don't think I've ever had that. Maybe once I was able to get that, but I've been doing it for like 4 months now, man, and I'll probably give it 1 month more of trying to see if I can feel those things. And I've had like longer retention times for the breath, but for me it hasn't been a life-changing thing. It's been an interesting thing to try out.
I think though what you're saying about like the tingling and all that stuff, because I've done the breathing, like I did the Wim Hof breathing a while ago, like a few years ago, and got a little bit of the tingles, but then I was looking into holotropic breathing, because they can say like you can sort of activate the DMT in your brain to have like just like a minor trip, almost like a mushroom trip. People have like equated it to that. So I was just doing the holotropic breathing, and I think I started at like 50 breaths. I didn't even really do much of a breath hold. It might have been like 1 minute. The breath hold didn't really seem important at that point. But it was 50, and then I held my breath for a little bit, and then I did 60 breaths, and then I held my breath 70, and then 80, all the way up to 100. And like by the time you get to 100, like I think you're just super hyperventilating, I guess, and your body's just like doing crazy things. Like my hands were sort of curling up a little. I've read about it, and they call it like the club or something. Like your hands literally curl up, and my face was all scrunched up and tingling. But like maybe the 30 or 40 breaths for you just isn't enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe if you like bump the breathing up, and you did like 50 to 100 for a few rounds, maybe then you would get that feeling. Yeah,
and I'm going to try that, but that's not the Wim Hof method. That's if that happens, I won't attribute it to him. I'll attribute that to, I don't know, myself experimenting or whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, like you were saying, he didn't invent breathing. He didn't invent breathing in fast and then breathing out slow. Like I've been reading about, it's like the 2-to-1 breathing. Like the breathing in stimulates your sympathetic nervous system, which stimulates you, and the breathing out stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which relaxes you. I might have got them backwards, but anyway. So if you breathe in shorter and out longer, you're stimulating your like rest and digest, like the relax one more. And that's been a thing. That's like the pranayama, like I was saying, in like Hinduism or yoga and everything. That's been a thing for ages. And that's kind of like what he's doing. And there's been a shit ton of breathing methods. Like I think there's one called like Soma or something, where they can heat their body up with the breathing, kind of like Wim Hof has in his thing. But the test is they sit in the snow, cross-legged, they put a wet towel over their body, and then they have to use the breathing method to dry the towel out. Well, that's like another breathing method. So
for sure.
There's
I was doing a bit of investigation into freediving and how they do theirs. And theirs is quite different. They actually say for the Wim Hof method, it's really dangerous because you're, like hyperoxygenating your blood, which, allows you to have longer retention times as far as breath holds go. But you sort of need the CO2 in your system to almost like give you warning of when you do need to breathe. And so if you do that method and go, diving under the water, you'll be able to go down. But when the blackout comes, it sort of just happens really quick. So you don't really have a good knowledge of where your limits are.
Okay, like it hyperinflates your...
So they have different methods. Some of them are like real strict, sort of like, breathe in at this rate for 30 seconds, breath hold, breathe in this rate for 45 seconds, breath hold. And then they'll also do, at the end, there is more, so Wim's is like a full breath in, full breath out, sort of equal, but they'll do like a quick big breath in and then a long exhale, big quick breath in, long exhale, and then maybe do sort of like 1, 2 or 3 sort of really deep breaths in right at the end and then they obviously hold the oxygen and right at the top. So it's funny seeing all these videos of like this girl talking about like, yeah, you get air in here, then you get air in the chest, then you lift your neck up and you get like an extra little bit, and then that sort of like sucking in the air like a fish right at the end just to get those extra
My niece
bits.
does that when she holds her breath in the pool. She does
really?
like a little guppy.
Nice. So there you go. She's already got the method now.
Intuitively.
Yeah, and by doing that, you get an extra. You can almost double your lung capacity by doing that, by just packing in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all sorts of breathing methods. That you
But
can
I
do.
think his method is specifically for health, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like-
Sure. Yeah, there's no emphasis. There's one tiny emphasis on retention holds, but not really. It's about health. It's not about
Information and
Yeah.
all those sort of things.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
like, he's not going to be training people up to free dive with the Wim Hof method.
Yeah.
And, like, his thing is, I'm pretty sure it's all about, like, changing the pH level of the blood to alkaline, right? Because when you're in an acidic state, that's like inflammation, cancer, like all the sort of bad things your body does.
Yeah.
So if you can stay in alkaline, you can, I don't know if your body repairs or if it's just in a better sort of position to heal and be better.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, that was cool, man. That was cool. Yeah, thanks for lending me that book. It was it was good reading it because it sort of almost got me to take a step back from it in essence, because he is such a charismatic dude that it's real fun to talk about and whatnot. But man, just him taking up random people up Kilimanjaro as well.
Yeah, there's
risky.
a lot of
It's very risky.
I wonder if they have like what the insurance premiums are or things like that. Is there, or maybe it's just loose as hell and it's like, well, like, do they sign waivers or anything? It's just like Wim Hof took me up this mountain and I froze to death. Like, I got pneumonia and had to get airlifted off. Like,
yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like, I'd take no responsibility for what happens. Like, I'm just joining Wim as he himself goes off, and I just happen to be in the same place at the same time, sort of thing. But
I wonder what the legal process is. Like, if he's got a team of legal people who sort of cover his ass for all this.
I really have a feeling that he doesn't. Like, maybe like the bare basic. I imagine like one lawyer, or like one partially trained lawyer who's just seeing all the things that could go wrong, and is just like furiously scribbling like, oh shit, like
new clauses
damage control. What's the most impact I can get with you'd probably need a board full of Rio Tinto or something. They've got in-house lawyers, a team full of people. I'm just imagining like one overstressed dude freaking out, and then he's freaking out telling Wim about all these things, and Wim just goes, breathe, motherfucker, like, why are you stressed out?
Come up this mountain with me.
That poor guy.
Definitely.
Hey, I went to the eye gazing thing you sent me.
Oh yeah.
It was intriguing, man.
Some experience.
It was an eclectic, enigmatic group of people there.
Okay.
Yeah, they were not the normal sort of people I meet in my day-to-day life, for sure. For instance, the very first dude I met was called Dante.
Dante.
So, like, if you got a name like Dante,
Nice. Poetic.
Yeah, you got stuff going on, man.
Come from a certain stock. It's a cool name though.
I like it. There was another guy as well. He wasn't called Merlin, but it was pretty close to that. It's like
Close to
Merrin.
All right.
But yeah, it was that was an intriguing one. I already talked about it with Juan on the podcast, but it was like you just sit there, man, about the same distance we are, sitting on the ground, and you just stare into each other's eyes.
For how long?
10 to 15 minutes, I think.
Okay.
Was about what seemed normal, or like what most people were doing. There's only like 6 of us there, so it was like 3 groups.
I thought there would be more than that.
Man, I was really unsure what would happen showing up. Was it going to be 100 people?
Yeah.
Was it going to be 2 people? No.
Yeah, just 2 people the whole time. Sit down for 10 minutes. Okay, we're done.
Well, there's like one guy, and he's just got a mirror there just to practice until someone else comes along.
Did anything weird happen though? Like,
yeah. I actually had. So there was one point, probably about 10 minutes in, where I sort of managed to focus on the eyes, like really, really dial in on the eyes, And I don't know if you've had this, I guess, when you stare at things and it's sort of like everything becomes a little bit blurry around it. That sort of happened, but the face was still like maybe like 50% in non-blurriness. And that's when like the face started to like transform, man. So this guy's face, it started to become, like really old. It was almost like I was peering into his pores. Imagine like a sort of shitty horror movie where maybe someone gets acid chucked in their face, or Indiana Jones where the guy like sees the melts and stuff like that. It was sort of like that. It was like, bubbling and transforming, but the eyes remain the same. Yeah. So my vision was doing some weird things, and I could sort of control it a little bit. Like I could sort of go like, all right, I'll try and make it like smooth now, or like a younger version instead of getting old. So,
I don't know if that's an eye-gazing thing, though, because like, if I stare at a pattern, sometimes if I meditate, I'll just stare at a pattern. Like, even the checkers on that board there, or staring at, like, the grain in the concrete or something. Like, you stare at it, and after a while, like, the edges of everything gets fuzzy, and your vision almost looks flat. So... Yeah, no, I don't attribute it to the eye-gazing in particular. Like, there was nothing about the aspect of there being another consciousness there. It was just staring at something for a long time. Weird shit. So no sense of, like, the person at all, or any, like, vibes or
Not particularly. It was a visual experience for me, not a subjective, spiritual one. Okay. It was sort of the same, like, I tried mushrooms once as well, and it was very visual for me. Just everything... people talk about having like this full body experience while doing that. For me, it was just, like really crazy shit happened in front of me, like visually, but not much else apart from that.
Are you a visual learner?
I think visual, I guess, is, I don't know. It depends, like, as in needing, graphs or plots or physical symbols and shapes.
If someone's going to teach you how to do something, like, can they tell you or can they show you?
Yeah, probably showing me is the best way. Yeah, learning a language, for example, I just wrote everything down, and that aspect of writing it down was much more impactful than
hearing it, repeating.
Yeah, hearing it.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
I wouldn't have said I was particularly visual. In the sense that I need to have, symbols and stuff. Like if you're trying to explain a concept and how things are linked, I don't need like a mind map of, lines being drawn into each other. I don't think I particularly need that. Okay. So, but yeah, if you just tell me stuff, I'll probably forget it as well.
Yeah, that might have to do with why it was just a visual experience for you instead of like a...
Could be.
I imagine more like kinesthetic people who go by feel, and maybe they would have a completely different experience. Yeah. So who knows?
And there are so many different things, like within the eye gazing. One of the guys was telling me, like, I could sort of sense, like, in this eye you were very, like searching, and it was almost like your soul was needing to find something, that you were like a lost wanderer on the path. Whereas in this eye you were very calm, collected, like you've found your place, you're mellow. I was just thinking, like, what the fuck are you saying? I didn't get any of that. Okay. For me personally, I didn't sense that in other people. But
do you feel like any of that, like they touched on something?
I don't think so, man.
Not at all?
No, I think just for the fact that if I got 5 people to do that, and then say, like, what did you see in each eye? They're all going to come up with different shit. Like this.
But why did you go to it though? You're searching for something. You went to an event to.
I went to it because it was something intriguing and I'd heard about it. Okay. I wasn't trying to find the answers to life
through someone's eyes.
No. I was wanting to meet different people. That was my reason, and I did. And they were intriguing, but they're not people I want to spend tons of time with either. So. I was going to say, like, as far as the tribe is concerned, like, this is, like, my tribe is here at the bars.
The park people?
Yeah. The people I meet at the park, almost all of them I get on, like, instantly with. Odes the other day, for example.
Oh, yeah.
He was cool. Just a random person. I was like, oh, shit, yeah. I'd want to have a conversation with him, like, sit down and do a podcast with him.
He's a very scientific guy.
Yeah,
he loves his studies and all his stuff.
Yeah. So...
and he's an engineer too. So you guys are probably vibing on the same scientific engineering level.
There's definitely something there with regards to that. But yeah, like I went to the very next day I went to a Buddhist meditation as well. I was busy that weekend, man.
Where was that?
Got up to stuff. There's one in where is it? It's just south, like it's directly south of Morningside, so I can't remember what that area is called.
You know what type of Buddhism it was? Like Zen or?
It was just like a sort of standard. Not the Theravada. It was the Mahayana one.
Okay.
What was it? Oh shit.
It's like Hinayana and Mahayana.
There's like two main branches.
Mahayana.
There's Zen falls under Theravada, I think. Man, I've got all this.
Yeah.
I've got all this on my phone.
Yeah.
That's why I don't need to remember it. So,
yeah. Just write it down.
Yeah. I'll actually bring it up now, so I'm not talking complete shit.
I think it's Mahayana Buddhism.
It was one where you sit in it was typical mindfulness meditation. So you watch the breath, you watch, they had some like visualization ones. So they went through like a bunch of different types of meditation. So yeah, there was like the metta, the loving kindness. I'm going to pour out my love for my family and then transfer that onto...
I find that stuff so cheesy.
I can't do it, man. I've tried it, but it doesn't work for me. I don't feel it.
I like Zen Buddhism, Taoism because it's like they call Zen like the doctrine of no doctrine.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe in anything. You don't have to, come up with this universal love and all this stuff. You literally just sit in meditation and then try and carry that over to life and be authentic, I guess.
Yeah.
But then once they get into like all the gods and all the things that happen and karma and like
reincarnation,
and you come back and it's like, what do you mean? You take a big jump there. You were sitting in meditation and then you took a huge leap and now you're being reincarnated as it's like, geez.
Yeah, exactly.
Something happened along the way. Someone got a little bit too idealistic or ambitious and was like, let's do some extra shit.
Yeah.
And I'm probably offending a lot of people's
That's
religion, but it's like, I don't know. Just keep it bare bones. Just meditate and feel the benefit of it.
Yeah, for sure. And that was okay, what I went to. I think she mentioned reincarnation once, but it was sort of like in passing. It wasn't the emphasis. And that's okay. Like some people emphasize certain things and others don't, and that's whatever. Like
I think it's like if you get that it's metaphor, then it's good.
Yeah.
But if you take it as truth, then I think it's like then you're getting a little bit too dogmatic and
start enacting that
crazy
in the world and whatnot. Yeah. So I've got it here. So Theravada is solely on the Pali Canon is more like the monastic path. Mahayana focused on wisdom and compassion, so Zen. So yeah, you're right. And then Vajrayana. Yeah, that's similar to Mahayana, but has more esoteric practices.
What's esoteric?
Esoteric, I think, is it's like beyond the conventional wisdom. I thought it was sort of like a way of saying different in a way.
Okay. Like unspeakable truths and all that sort of thing, or
let me type it up, man. I got my phone in front of me. We'll do it.
Power of Google,
man. It's useful. It is very useful.
We're gonna be screwed if Google ever goes down, or if like the internet's down for like a month. People with all these projects, they're doing all this work. They need to figure out how to do stuff on the fly.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit. What do we do now?
Esoteric, intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. So it was a bit wrong.
Sounds a little, yeah.
Yeah, I tried going without a phone or screens or technology or anything for a day. It was a subtle change. Felt nice.
Yeah. I did that the other day as well.
Yeah.
It feels really good.
Yeah.
I find it's like everything just drops away. You can just chill out.
Yeah, I had it was like everything sort of slightly improved a little bit. Like I had a slightly better conversation with my dad in the morning. I had slightly less stress during the day. I did notice myself, I like went out to shop with my mom and I was always like patting my leg because the phone wasn't there. So that was a bit of a strange feeling. And
there's going to be a name for that soon. I remember it was a thing. I don't know if it was an official thing, but it was called ringxiety, where it's like you always think you can hear your phone ringing. So if you don't have it on you, any noise, and you think like you immediately perk up because you think it's your phone ringing, or you got a message, but you never did. It's just like a psychological thing.
Yeah, I just remember jokes about your phone vibrating, but when you check it, there was nothing there. So you're like, oh shit, I must have cancer.
I've had it before where it's like I don't even have my phone on me, but like I'll turn and like maybe like the pocket rubs against the fabric and it feels like vibration, and I'll go to get my phone. It's like, oh, I never had my phone at all. Like that was weird as hell.
Yeah.
Just associate that feeling straight away with your phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Becoming so dependent on it's a little bit creepy.
Yeah, well, have you found yourself using it less now that? Well, you've got like the Whoop, but it's not like the Apple Watch type thing, which takes, if anything, you're using your phone more to check what the Whoop's saying.
Yeah, it does make you, because like if you've actually punched things in as it's happening, the data is a little better. Right, it can auto-detect, like kind of auto-detect when you go to sleep and when you wake up. But if you press start activity sleep, it'll measure like when you decided to go to sleep and how long it took to go to sleep and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I do find myself checking it a lot, only because I'm kind of obsessed with the numbers and everything now and trying to figure out what it all means.
Yeah.
But I think once I get to a point, I'll probably just stop checking it so much.
Yeah. That's sort of my general method of doing things. So I'll do that, and then eventually I'll still have it, but I won't use it as a daily thing.
Yeah, I plan, like my ultimate plan with this Whoop is pretty much to get to the point where I can sort of feel out when it says I have low recovery and I feel like I'm really good. I want to see if I can like try to find the markers of what a low recovery feels like compared to this thing. Like see if it actually does carry over, like if there's a physical thing I'm just not aware of. Yeah. Or if I can see it in my day. And then see what the effects like all these things have on recovery, like the breathing and the ice baths and all that stuff. And over time, just get to a point where you know yourself well enough that you can sort of manage your own recovery without wearing a wrist strap. Yeah. You can get a better idea of yourself. Just use this as like a guide to have numbers to what you're feeling, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, just the thing with these is it's like the perpetual complexity of my life, and just getting used to two things being true and false at the same time. So one, for example, has an Apple Watch or some sort of watch, which measures like basically all the same stuff. And he was saying he went out the other night, came home, got 2 hours sleep, checked it the next day, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got an hour's 15 deep rest." Which is more than I get on a normal night of sort of like 5 to 6 hours sleep. And so for me, that just screams, well, you're missing something, because you can't sleep 2 hours every night and expect to, get good sleep. Like that's it's not going to work. You're going to burn out very quickly within like 2 days. Yeah. So, maybe it's just a once-off thing. Okay, whatever. But getting be able to comfortable. Liking the scientific method, but also getting comfortable of the fact that it's not foolproof and that it can deceive you in strange ways as well. Same with statistics.
Well, the only way like the scientific method could be 100% accurate is if they tested the entire population.
Yeah.
Some of the studies they do are like such tiny groups that they study, and like people might like cite a study to prove their point. But then you look up, like, the groups that they tested and everything, and it's like, this doesn't reflect what you're talking about. It's just, like, the conclusion that you read kind of confirmed what you were saying, but it's like the subjects the group was too small, like, it wasn't a reflection of the actual population. Yeah. It was, you just took the last bit to confirm your theory, so. Yeah, and that's in, like, all the branches of science as well, not just studies, like, statistics is terrible, man. I don't trust a lot of statistics I hear nowadays, just because. How many % of statistics don't you trust?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe 5. But it's weird getting used to like, okay, what do you believe in? Okay, well, this thing. Okay, but sometimes that thing isn't true. Oh, fuck. All right, I'll have to think of something else.
Yeah, I approach things with what they call healthy skepticism.
Yeah.
and then like I'll test it out for myself.
Yeah.
Or if I care enough,
those two is a pretty good method.
Yeah. If I care enough, I'll test it out on myself. If I don't care, well, it's like, well, I'm not going to take that as the truth and spout it out. But like the carnivore diet, for example, like you got two different camps. People who say, obviously, like the vegans and stuff say like carnivore is going to give you bowel cancer and all these things, and then the carnivore people are saying that you're going to feel amazing and cure all your autoimmune diseases and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, that could happen to people. Like depending on your genes, you could get either of those things, and until you do it and you find out, you don't really know, because the study isn't sort of reflecting you. It's reflecting whoever these groups are that they checked on.
Yeah.
So,
And it's everywhere, man. The book that you got on the bottom there, Born to Run,
right.
this talks about ultra marathoners and running through the desert and barefoot running and stuff like that. And yeah, I just noticed in the book just the exaggeration used for emphasis, and it did make the book super fun to read. I really enjoyed reading it, but I came away thinking, man, I gotta be really careful not to use any of the stats or any of the claims it makes in this book, as like even repeating them to other people. I have to be really careful with that, because yeah, I mean, there was just one instance in it where he was talking about this girl who's like this bombshell, stunning, like ultra athlete. She could have been like the Maria Sharapova. Like she was so good looking. And I look her up afterwards. She's not a bad looking girl, but it's not like it's not that level of wow. So yeah, that was just a real visceral one. Yeah, that's it.
Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. He wrote a book on his like straight line persuasion, whatever it is, his sales system. And man, like the first chapter, he is just talking his thing up. He's like, you are going to be a superhuman of sales. Like my method is going to take you places you've never seen before. And like he even says, like he's like, I am a salesman. Like I will blow anything out of proportion and make this so epic. And it's the first chapter, and it's like, well, we know what we're in for. Yeah. And like he just and
it works. So,
he's a good salesman.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe this book, like you said, it was so exaggerated that it became fun to read.
Yeah.
You didn't drop it halfway, and you probably recommend it to people.
Yeah.
And talk about it.
That's true. Talking about it right now.
Did its job.
Yeah, there you go.
It's got its place. But that's where the healthy skepticism comes in. Take things with a grain of salt. And if you're really interested, try it for yourself, I guess.
I did. I did a barefoot run, a 5K. It felt good in the moment. A couple of days afterwards, I was feeling sore, but it was like, oh yeah, maybe there's a good type of sore. And now a week afterwards, I got like a little bit of plantar fasciitis, which I used to get, which is that pain right in the arch of the foot. I'm going, man, that motherfucker.
Got you. He sold you.
I might give it another try. Like going 5K right off the bat was maybe a bit too much, and I can run very comfortably on grass barefoot. So maybe I just need to ease into it a bit more.
Same as all things, right? You wouldn't just go to your like max deadlift or something without warming up. You would ease into it. Yeah. You gotta. But I guess he just amped you up so much, you just had to go.
It worked, man. It worked.
Put the book down, take the shoes off, and run.
Oh, man, you just reminded me of those. You know what's going to be a shame? Kids not realizing, like, not getting the joke of you wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't.
Those piracy things, wasn't it? The start of DVDs and stuff. Yeah. You wouldn't steal a handbag.
Yeah.
I always looked at that as like, are they challenging me? Like, you wouldn't steal a car. It's like, oh really? Well, let me show you.
That lady's handbag on the seat in front of you is looking awfully tempting.
You wouldn't steal a handbag. It's like, oh yeah. I'll show you, DVD guy.
Oh, nice.
Just baiting me up.
Yeah. All right, I think that's a good place to end it, man. Good laugh there at the end. Anything else you want to add?
Nah.
No.
Not
really. Cool. All right, that's it there. Breathe, motherfuckers.
See you later.